Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good day all, and you are all welcome. Don't forget, actually, today we have all agreed that we are going to be having our lectures on Thursday and Monday by 8 p.m. So you are all welcome, and I hope you can all see my board here. Please, now I want to confirm the following. Can you hear me? That is number one. And can you see my board? Can you hear me and can you also see my board? Okay, so excellent. So don't forget, actually, as we agree that today we are going to look at the chemistry of macromolecules, and I ask you to watch some of our videos. So now, actually, without wasting much of our time, we are going to look at the general concept of biochemistry, and then we are also going to look at the macromolecules themselves. Okay, so now, what is biochemistry? I think from what we discussed last time, we defined biochemistry as a branch of science that deals with the study of life using a molecules. So actually understanding the concept of molecules in biochemistry is very important. Understanding the concept of molecules in biochemistry is very important. And I think from our last discussion, we started discussing the molecules themselves. So actually, when we are trying to study life using a molecules, that is actually what we call uh, biochemistry. So biochemistry is a branch of science that trying to deals with the study of life processes using, or that trying to study life using chemical processes that are taking place in our body. And of course, there are millions of reactions that are taking place in our body, and that is why we live, and that is why a lot of things that we are just only seeing the functions that are taking place in our body without properly or fully understanding exactly what is happening. But I want you to understand that each and every activities or each and every physiological functions that are taking place in our body is as a result of the molecules that are found in our body. So that is why now I want to tell you that even the life that we are talking about, it started from atoms, and that is what we even discussed last time. That of course, I think, let me recap, atoms, when they combine together, they will produce what you call a molecules, and then these molecules, they are actually started from, of course, let me just give examples of atoms of life. We have some things like carbon, we have oxygen, we have nitrogen, and then we have sulfur. So these are some of the examples of the atoms. And of course, these atoms, when they join together through a different chemical combination, and examples of some of these chemical combination include like ionic bonding, covalent bonding, but the most type, or one of the important types of chemical reactions that are taking place, or one of the main types of chemical combination that are taking place in a biological system is what? Let me ask you this question. Which types of chemical reaction, or which types of chemical bond it mostly found in the body of living organisms? And of course, you know that is a covalent bond, because of course when we are talking about organic compounds, there are compounds that are found in living organisms. So when we said organic compounds, there are compounds that are found in the body of a living organism. So the main types of chemical bonding that are found in the body or in organic compound is covalent bonding. The main types of bonding that found in organic compound is covalent bonding. We call it covalent. It's covalent bonding. So actually, these smaller atoms through chemical or through covalent bonding, they will form a molecules. And these molecules, we have many examples of some of these molecules. We have something like CO2, we have something like CH4, we have something like C2H6. All these are examples of smaller molecules that form as a result of a combination of atoms. So these smaller molecules also, they join together to produce monomers, and I think this is what we also discussed last time. Examples of the monomers we have. Who can give me example of monomers? Let's, because I asked you to watch the video, so now let the class be like a kind of interaction. So now, what are the example of monomers that are formed as a result of the combination of these smaller molecules? We call them small molecules. Excellent. So we have amino acids. So from these monomers, it will actually form a macromolecules. And then these macromolecules, examples we have something like proteins, we have something like lipids. Lipid is fatty acid and glycerol. And then apart from lipids, we also have carbohydrates. Also have carbohydrates. And apart from carbohydrate, we also have what again? Yeah, that is simply sugars. And apart from proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and then we also have nucleic acids. Nucleic acid. So nucleic acids, they are actually the molecules of life. Actually, I'm just trying to recap. I'm trying to recap what we actually discussed from the previous class so that we will build from there. So now these are actually the macromolecules, and of course these macromolecules, they actually combined together to do a non-covalent interaction, and I think I said this last time. So they will produce what we call a supramolecular, they will form what we call a supramolecular complexes. Supramolecular complexes. And these supramolecular complexes, what are the examples of supramolecular complexes, my friends? What are the examples of supramolecular complexes? I need example, please. Examples of excellent Abdullahi Baria. So we have viruses, we have prions, and many more. So then from supramolecular complexes, we have the organelles of the cell. We have organelles of the cell. So from organelles of the cells, we have the cells itself. We have the cells. And then from the cells, we have tissues. And then from tissues, we have organs. From the organs, we have the system, and from system, we have complete living organisms. So that is what I want you to understand. So this is actually, we call it the journey of life, meaning that the life started from atoms and then of course up to the complete living organism. So if you look actually the complete human being or the complete living organisms, we are actually formed as from a combination of atoms. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, remember, from the concept of physiology, we have what we call rigor mortis. That is why after we die, all these atoms will disintegrate themselves. They will all disintegrate themselves, and that is why when we died, and of course we buried actually, and after a long time when you come back, you not see anything, because all the organs are disintegrated. The organs further disintegrate into tissues, and then the tissues will further disintegrate into individual cells, and then the cells will also further disintegrate into the supramolecular complex. The supramolecular complexes will go down to disintegrate into macromolecules, to monomers, to smaller atoms, and then to atoms themselves. So those atoms, they are the atoms that will be used to even build another organism. So after we die, ladies and gentlemen, all the individual atoms in our body will disintegrate to form free carbon, free nitrogen, and the free carbon that is actually generated from a particular dead individual will be used by the plant to undergo photosynthesis to generate other food substances. Remember, photosynthesis is the process in which green plant use sunlight to generate their own food. So what does that mean? So when we die, the individual atoms will disintegrate. You have a carbon. The carbon will combine with the free oxygen, or yeah, from free oxygen from the atmosphere or from the plant to combine to produce carbon dioxide. And that carbon dioxide will be utilized by another plant to use it for photosynthesis, which will be used to generate carbohydrate. So after carbohydrate is generated through photosynthesis, the carbohydrate and proteins that we get from our crops will also eat by another human. So when we eat that carbohydrate, that the same carbohydrate will be used to build our own body, will be used to synthesize another proteins in our body. So I want you to understand that the life is actually circulating. Remember, from your basic chemistry or from your basic biology, we have carbon cycle, we have nitrogen cycle. So what are the main sources of the carbon? What are the main sources of the nitrogen? They are coming from dead plant and the dead animal. So that is what I want you to understand. So when we die, we are talking about, actually, let me try to take it back so that at least you will understand. So let's say, let's give example with myself. Let me give example with myself. So as human, I'm giving example with myself. So when I die, as a human, which is actually complete living organism. So when I die, because there is no even energy. So as a human, as a complete living, all the human body will start disintegrating. As human, it will be disintegrate into a various organs. The various organs will further disintegrate into tissues. The tissues will further disintegrate into cells, the cells into organelles, and then the organelles into supramolecular complexes. Supramolecular complexes. So the supramolecular complexes will further disintegrate into macromolecules. And then the macromolecules will disintegrate into monomers. Then the monomers, of course, will further disintegrate into simple molecules. And then from the simple molecules, it will further disintegrate into atoms. Into atoms. And examples of these atoms, it can be carbon, it can be nitrogen. So this carbon, after human is, that is why we call it rigor mortis. Remember, you did that in physiology, rigor mortis. So this carbon that come from dead human will react with oxygen from the atmosphere to form CO2. And then this CO2 will be utilized by plants to undergo photosynthesis to generate food product. And then this food product generated by plant during photosynthesis, the foods products generated by plant during photosynthesis will be taken by another human or another organism. And of course, the number of atoms from me will be utilized by another organisms after I die. So that is what I want you to understand. So now, I'm just actually trying to give you the general concept of life using a molecules. And of course, what I want you to understand, we talk about how life started from atom to simple molecules to even cells itself. So that is why in this video, we are also going to try as much as possible to how we can look at to look at the basic concept of cells because it's part of the course. And that is why I even want to say something. I want to say something here, ladies and gentlemen. The concept, understanding the concept of cell at this level is very important. You will do it in human physiology 225, you will do it in human physiology 227, you will do it in general anatomy, that is anatomy 209, you will also do it in biochemistry, and you will also, yeah, I think you'll do it in all these four courses. So that is why it is very important to understand the concept of cell at this level. So I think today we are also going to look at that. So now we actually defined on the basic concept of biochemistry. So now, okay. So now, the next thing that we are going to do is actually we are going to look at now look at how you can study life using atoms. So now, one of the very important things that I want you to understand now is that what are the major tripod of medicine? What are the major courses that you need to do as a medical practitioner? Okay, thank you very much. Who can tell me what are the major courses that you need to study as a health practitioner? So I want you to list them. Number one, what are the major courses that you need to study them very well, or that you need to study as a medical practitioner, whether you are a nurse, whether you are a medical lab scientist, whether you are a medical student, that is a medicine student, whether you are a pharmacy student. So what are those courses that you need to know them very well? Excellent. So number one, we start with biochemistry. Bio is that you need to study in medicine. These are the one. The one. Yeah, I think says they are very important for every medical practitioner to know them. But how can you understand that? You know that we have applied sciences and we have basic sciences. So these are all applied because there are some courses that you need to know them very well. There are some courses that you need to know them very well before you are able to understand the basic concept of the following. So if you are a very bad student in some of those courses, it means that you are going to have a problem in understanding these courses. Who can tell me what are those basic sciences? Chemistry is very important. Basic science. Chemistry is very important. Mathematics. Mathematics. Biology and physics. So look at them. You see, these basic sciences, look at them: chemistry, mathematics, biology, and physics. They are very, very important. If you have problem with any of this, if you have problem with any of this, so you're going to have problem with the following. If you have problem with any of this, you will end up of managing yourself to understand this. So that is one thing that I want you to understand. But if you are good in all of this, you'll not have problem with any of this. So that is what I want you to understand. So how to avoid managing yourself in order for you to be a good health practitioner. So you must understand the following. So now, let's look at one after the other how these are important in order on understanding this. You see, when we said chemistry, ladies and gentlemen, remember from your basic secondary school, chemistry is the study of structure, composition, properties, and the preparation of matter. What does that mean? Chemistry is what will give you an idea of the structure of each and every part of a living organism. Look at it. Brain, is it the same with the kidney? Is it the same with the liver? Structurally, they are different. So what make kidney differ from liver? What make kidney differ from brain is because of the chemical compounds that are found in the liver, and the chemical compound that are found in the kidney, and the chemical compound that are found in the brain, and the chemical compound that are found in the pancreas. They are not the same. They are not the same. So if you are able to understand the basic principle of chemistry, it will really help you to understand why the anatomy of the liver is different from the anatomy of the kidney. The anatomy of the brain is different from the anatomy of the pancreas. The functions of the kidney is different from the functions of the liver. So now if someone asks you why liver is not the same with the kidney, the answer is chemistry. Their chemistry is not the same. So if they do not have the same chemistry, so definitely their anatomy and physiology is not going to be the same. That is what I want you to understand. Please now. So it's actually the difference in chemistry that is what make one brain, the liver, the brain and the liver, they have different chemistry. So it's because of the different chemistry, because when we said chemistry here, we are talking about the compounds. And the compound that we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is the macromolecules. The macromolecules. Meaning that the macromolecules that are found in the liver are different from the macromolecules that are found in the brain, and is different from the, and it is actually because of that That is why each organ, each system, each tissue have different functions because of their different chemistry. So now do you understand the importance of chemistry in understanding biochemistry? Because look at it. This one, it is called biochemistry because it is just trying to study the molecules of life, the chemical compound that are found in each and every cell, the chemical compound that are found in each and every tissue of the body, the chemical compound that are found in each and every cells in the body, they are different. That is why each organ differ from one another, and that is why we even have about 220 different cells. Because like in humans, we have about 222 different cells, starting from myocytes, that is the muscle cells, hepatocyte, the liver cell, the neurocyte, the nephrocyte. We have about 220 different cell types in human. And why is it that they are different? Is because they have different chemistry. They have different chemical compound. They have different biomolecules in them, and that is what makes them different. So that is actually the importance of the chemistry. So it's because of the differences in chemistry. That is why we have about 220 different cell types, and that is why we have different cells in the body, different organs, different system that in the body of a living organism. Please, do you understand? Do you understand before we proceed? Please, do you understand? I want to hear from you before we proceed so that we can see how mathematics is important in this. Okay, now the next one now is mathematics. Mathematics is important in understanding the following courses based on logical reasoning. Logical reasoning. You can see that some students are very smart. Some medical students, you will see them that are very smart when it comes to drug prescription, when it comes to disease diagnosis, when it comes to understanding the quantum of each and every disease, the drug prescription, the treatment itself, you will see them, they are very logical. They are very smart. When they advise a patient or when they prescribe a drugs to a particular patient, you will see that the accuracy is very high. So the logical reasoning of each and every medical practitioner is coming from mathematics. That is why sometimes it will shock you when you meet a particular medical practitioner and you start discussing about drugs and diseases, the diagnosis of the disease, you see them, they appears like dull. It's because they are very bad in mathematics. To the smartness, the accuracy, the logical thinking and reasoning is coming from mathematics. So if you are very bad in mathematics, you will appear sometimes to be not very smart. So that is what I want you to understand. And then the next one is now biology. What is the importance of biology in this? Biology, of course, as you can see, bio means life, logy study. The study of life is called biology. So all of this, if you look, there are branches of biology. They are all trying to study life, but at different level. Now, let's look at biochemistry. If you take biochemistry, I think I define it in this way. Biochemistry, just give me some minutes. Okay, please can you hear me now?